Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. Preston Guy, TigerBait.com, joins us now via the Tim's Firearms Hotline. Preston, how we doing?
Oh, Hunt, we're doing very well. we are very excited, very happy. We're eating well right now.
Does the wife have a bunch of honeydews for you tomorrow? You going to be at Home Depot? You going to be cutting the grass? You got to fix the gutters? Anything that's going on tomorrow? Or are we just checking out the football?
You know, she might have a list, but that list's probably just not getting done. The good news is it's Labor Day weekend. So we get a little extended break, and look, maybe Sunday during the day. Now, Sunday around 3 o'clock, we're shutting down.
Yeah,
we need ample prep time. But that's the good news for her, is it is an extended weekend.
Sunday might be a good day to knock some things out in the morning because there's not football on, and like you can just sit around and make yourself miserable if you wait until 6:30. So, second thought, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe so, man.
All right, let's talk some football. LSU and Southern California. How do you feel about LSU's running game?
Running game, I'd say it helps playing a team like USC. If their defense looks anything like it did a year ago, you should be able to do whatever you want. However, we don't know for sure. The coordinator they brought from UCLA did a really good job improving that defensive front. They still have a guy like Bear Alexander, but looking at how they do their practice, I don't know that this is going to be a Les Miles approach to the running game. They're doing different, interesting things to kind of manufacture a running game. I think they understand that, most of the players in this offense weren't used to a physical ground attack, and it looks like on paper they have the pieces with a strong running back core and among the best offensive lines in the country, but it is a completely different style of play. So I think they're going to do all right. I'll be honest, looking at practice from what I saw, I think it's going to be one of those things where you get frustrated. Just you want Caleb Jackson to get all the carries, and he's probably going to be limited to below 15 carries a game this year just because of how they like to spread the ball around. But he looks like a monster.
Yeah, Josh Williams is going to get the start, and I'm told he's going to be the first guy, but I think Caleb Jackson's going to be in the mix early and often as well. We'll see. How do you feel about DJ Chester at the front of this offensive line?
I think that in terms of who's most important to keep in the lineup, he might be your most important player. Now, he's probably your fifth best offensive lineman, at least on paper, fifth best offensive lineman. But you saw when he missed practice with an illness, they had to do some shuffling around that really messed with the chemistry. Dellinger is going to be your backup center right now. Cohen and Cole's the true freshman. I don't think they're going to give him first look in a pivotal game, an important game, especially this early in the season. So keep him healthy. I think if you lose him, your offense changes a good bit, but I do think he's an impressive redshirt freshman. I think that there's a reason why Marlon Martinez, who started last year as the backup center, we didn't see much action outside of Charles Turner after the Missouri game, but it looks like J.J. Chester ran him out of town, and now he's at Mississippi State. So I think that we're going to get a good glimpse of why that happened or if that was an ill-advised move.
We keep getting updates on Chris Hilton as the week goes on, and nothing suggests that he's probable for this game, questionable at best, perhaps doubtful at this point. How big a loss would that be if he can't go on Sunday?
Yeah, he looked really good in camp, and that's been the thing about him. He's been a really good player during his time at LSU, particularly with the deep ball, and we all know how much Nussmeier loves his deep ball. But he just can't stay healthy. And, every time you have an injury, it's not just being available, it's being 100%. Maybe he plays this weekend, but is he better than the next man up? We don't know. I'll say surprisingly for me, they are running with their guns and going, instead of picking, what they feel is the best overall receiver, they're going with Kyle Parker, who's been trained at that position. I guess they feel like the offense will run most smoothly with him in there. I was a little surprised to see that they didn't, shift in one of those receivers playing another position in the offense there. Like, think about guys like a Xavion Thomas and Aaron Anderson. But no, it looks like they're rolling with Kyle Parker if they need to. So that's the eye here, is not only is Chris Hilton healthy, is he going to be better than his backup? That's what you have to consider.
With X's and O's, you can do a lot of things. You can play zone, you can play man. There's a lot of different ways you can cover. But just in terms of Jimmys and Joes, when you look at USC's receiving core and you look at LSU's defensive backs, how do you feel?
Oh, man. The USC definitely has the advantage. And I'm going to tell you just right off the bat, Zachariah Branch, there's no DB LSU has that's one-on-one-ing him. There's no Patrick Peterson. There's no Tre'Davious White. There is no founding father of DBU rolling out there for LSU this weekend. There's a bunch of guys who are serviceable, but you're going to have to scheme around him. There's no doubt about that. And more importantly, you're going to have to manufacture some pressure. You're going to have to do certain, cover 3 situations where you got a lot of zone coverage and you're blitzing out of zone because you got to get him on his butt and you got to make sure you're not beat deep down the field. That being said, that does open up a lot of situations where you can attack the flats or you can attack a slant easier than you would like. That's just part of these schemes. Part of having to dial up blitzes to get pressure is the fact that you have to give up coverage somewhere, somehow, right? And I'm looking at Blake Baker's defense, watching film from him last year, and I'm curious, will the blitz giving up a big play be this year's version of the soft zone coverage? Because I'm not seeing much soft zone coverage calls. And last year, of course, we all just grunted and groaned about how bad that looked. I would say after seeing that, fans would like to see some aggressive defense where, okay, you got beat on a blitz a couple times, but you know what? We're getting a lot more sacks, a lot more pressure. I think fans would enjoy seeing something like that, but you're going to have to help out your DBs. I think your DBs are your weakest unit on this team.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Raymond can't even spell soft zone coverage. He wants no part of that. That guy just came out wanting to play man from the second he was on a football field. So I think you're going to see a good bit of that. Is there an element that of you that if you're coaching LSU's defense this week says, look, they're going to score some points. They average 40 points a game every single year.
Yeah.
Trying to hold them to 17 is a lost cause. Does that change the way you call defense a little bit, maybe get a little bit more aggressive and say, hey, if we give up a big play, that was probably bound to happen anyway?
Yeah, I do think that. I mean, I think there's no reason to expect that your defense is going to all of a sudden go out there and be, the 2011 unit that is scoring more points than it's giving up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you have to be a little realistic with this. I think that you got to get Miller Moss uncomfortable. And frankly, you think about it, okay, you give up 3-4 first downs. Okay, well, that's terrible. But let's say the next blitz you get a turnover. Turnovers by making quarterbacks uncomfortable. You put them off balance. So, I do think that. I think that you got to hold USC under 34 points. That's kind of the number I have in my head. Asking your offense to go out and score more than 34, it's not a very easy assignment week in and week out. Even against a defense that's come returning that was as bad as USC's, it's just not a good way to win many football games. You've got to keep them within a reasonable number.
How do you feel about LSU's pass rush ability to get pressure?
I think it's greatly improved from last year. I think that these players are going to be the players we see with the greatest improvement from last year. It's mostly the same guys minus the defensive tackles, 3 guys who went pro. A lot of the same name guys we're used to seeing. But I'm telling you, having Kevin Peoples and Bo Davis, I've been watching them real close. These guys are absolute technicians. In practice, the D-line's been holding their own with the offensive line at times. I'm not saying they beat them, but they're not getting embarrassed. They're making some plays. I think that the defensive line's going to be greatly improved. I haven't seen that from the DBs yet. That's not to say that they didn't do it after they kicked us media out to install some secret weapons, apparently, the last couple weeks. But, I like what the D-line does. I expect they're going to be greatly improved. In fact, one of the things I did was trying to convince myself, is this defense actually going to be good? Well, let's compare my notes of this fall camp to, say, my notes after the Ole Miss game. And there's a lot of areas that I'm like, yeah, I wasn't seeing that in fall camp. Poor pursuit angles. Now, tackling, I have no idea if they're going to be good tackling or not, simply because they didn't show us any tackling, and they probably don't get to do much during fall camp. But the one area that really stood out to me was loafing. I counted 14 loafs, or half-effort plays against Ole Miss. And in this Blake Baker scheme, these guys love this guy. They have high energy. They want to play with him. That's the area where I'm like, oh, you know what? Seeing that loafing metric and then seeing all the players publicly disrespect Mac House after the season last year and They apparently did not like that guy. And seeing the way they do like Blake Baker, I think we're going to see dramatic improvement in the loafing department this year. And maybe that shows up in other areas too, the fact that they're just giving fuller effort under Blake Baker.
Rebounding on a basketball court, defense in football, a lot of it's just effort. You got to get up and you got to go, even if it's not a ton of fun. How do you feel about special teams? Brian Kelly talked about splitting the punter duties yesterday.
Yeah, solid. They look solid to me. I do think Xavier Thomas needs to be your kick returner. We did see a couple. I think Aaron Anderson, I have a note. I saw him muff a ball. So I do think it's going to be Xavier Thomas, and that alone should be greatly improved. But, of course, we all know special teams is really all the unsexy positions. We talk about the gunners, the blocker on your punt, the long snapper. And it's hard to evaluate all those guys. But everything I've seen looks solid. Bob Diaco is an absolute nut if you've ever seen him at practice. He is so high energy and excited. I'm like, man, it's kickoff. Like, what are we doing here? But no, he's full energy. He's ready to roll. And I think the kicker's going to be good. Ramos, we know what we've got with him. He's solid. He's not going to miss any kicks that are simple, but he's probably not lining up a 57-yarder and draining it. He just is what he is. I think the punter, I'm a little concerned about. They might split it. I think it'll be Ostendorf, though. I think Peyton Todd, when he hits it, is the most talented, best punter you got, but he shanks it just way too often. You can't shank 1 in 4 punts. It doesn't matter how good your hang time and all that good stuff is. You got to get it. So I don't feel bad about special teams. I would feel a little more nervous if you didn't sign Ostendorf. Let's put it like that.
You got a score prediction for Sunday night?
Yeah, I think LSU is going to maintain control in this game. I think LSU's defense is going to improve a good bit more than USC's has based on the overhaul. The coaching staff LSU brought in, I'm very impressed with overall. And I think that they're going to force some turnovers, and I think LSU gets some separation late in this game as USC's trying to come back from behind. I could really see something like a pick six or something when they're down 10. And I think LSU wins. I think they cover. Let's put it like that.
That will do quite nicely. Tell them about your show every Monday night.
Monday night, Tiger Bait LSU YouTube channel. Y'all check us out. Me and Zach Nagy are there every Monday night. Although this week we're going to be back on Tuesday because remember that holiday and the honeydews on Monday I was telling y'all about. We're going to take a Labor Day. But y'all come check us out. And all my work on tigerbait.com is available. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to loosen up the tie and cut up for some fun a little bit, trash on some mouthy professors every now and then. P-Guy77.
Have a great weekend. Enjoy the football, Preston.
All right, you too, Hunt.
Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.